Hey, welcome to this week's video. It's a brand new week, and well, it's the end of a week, and we have another video conversation between me and my brother for you guys. And this is kind of a hot topic going around right now, so I think you might find it interesting. So, what are we talking about, Joshua?
Disney has branched off and created their own streaming service, as everybody knows, and with that, they have kind of their Disney original, like Netflix original.
Yeah.
It's called The Mandalorian. Okay. Now,
which, if you haven't heard about it, then why have you not? Because it's everywhere right now.
Yes. Now, in the past, me and Joseph have been kind of vocal on not liking Disney just in general because of their money grubbing just snobs, I think. And the fact they just had to have their own streaming service is them just saying, oh, we don't want to pay Netflix. We want to have our own streaming service, which I understand that, but they're just trying to get money. But this show...
They're trying to monopolize a little bit, and they're saying we don't need to help contribute to the place like Netflix that already has a lot of stuff. They just want to, have their own.
Yeah, I mean,
it's a bit annoying.
And also, we've talked about Star Wars a little bit in the past, and this is in the Star Wars universe what we're about to talk about. The Mandalorian is what we're wanting to talk about. So, we've talked about Star Wars in the past, and first, right off the bat, before we kind of get into all the details, just the vibe of the whole show, it has a very old school, like the original Star Wars. They were trying to recreate that. I don't know if you got that with it, but
Definitely.
it almost had like an 80s feel to it, which was what the original Star Wars was because it was shot in the 80s. Yeah. So it's has an 80s vibe to it. What was your thoughts on that?
I loved it. I loved how the characters had, if they were alien, they had they were built in a way that made them look like that old school puppet kind of look, but at the same time it had a more touch of realism.
Yeah.
That makes it look like the old ones, but more realistic.
Yeah, it wasn't
really like that.
It didn't have just an animated, there were some things that were animated, like the main character, or not the main character, the secondary character that, the green character that we'll get into, but...
Should we just say that there's going to be spoilers if you haven't watched it?
Yes. I mean, we'll put that in the thumbnail, so yes.
They've only come out with the 2 episodes right now, right?
Yes. So far, only 2 episodes, to my knowledge.
And we watched both of them.
Maybe by the time this releases, there might be another episode, but there's 2 episodes to date.
Yeah.
And the first one, my opinion, it took a little bit to get into it because I was like, is this Boba Fett? Is this, who is this? And then I kind of realized as the story goes on, you realize where it fits in the timeline a little bit. It's after the 6th episode, after the Empire has fallen, and the whole galaxy's kind of in this,
kind of
trying
anarchy,
trying to get money. It's almost like they had a huge what am I trying to think of?
Financial collapse.
Yeah, financial collapse in the whole galaxy. So I mean, we see some of that in the Force Awakens with Rey. Her trying to she was scavenging Star Destroyers and stuff.
Yeah,
and getting money. We see a little bit of that, but that's after they've almost rebuilt themselves a little bit. This is literally right on the cusp of the of downfall. So
it's cool to see a different perspective of that time. We haven't seen anything come out from that little gap period. And so it's cool to see the vibe of what's going on during that period of time.
Yeah, that is definitely true. So a lot of people are saying, how did you feel you connected with the main character? Because a lot of people are saying because he has a helmet on the whole time, you don't connect with the characters very well. it's
I was
hard to.
actually surprised how much I was connecting with the character.
Mhm.
I think the way that it was written, the situations he was in, the way the music tells in almost every circumstance what the audience is supposed to feel. And this one, it dictates very much what the main character is feeling. And so the music helps you understand and connect with them a little bit. And even though they have close-ups where it's just the helmet, it still shows, you can't see the emotion in their face, but you can almost feel the thoughts that this individual is having. And so I actually didn't have a problem connecting with it because I think the way it was put together with the atmosphere and everything, it made sense. It was very easy to understand what was going on with what they're thinking, how they're feeling, you know?
Yeah, definitely.
And that's just across the board.
I mean, and
Music
that's
is supposed to do that.
yeah. There's characters without helmets too, so you connect with those characters too. It's not like it's just the main character that you really
Yeah.
looking at. And okay, now getting into the secondary kind of main character, that the little green thing that it doesn't have a name yet. I don't think.
Just
but-
like the mini Yoda.
Yeah, it's not Yoda because
Yeah.
Yoda's dead, but yes, it
Well,
is.
okay, something interesting that this idea is tackling that this show is tackling that we didn't realize. It kind of seems like that species of alien has like I guess it's the what do they call it? The midichlorians?
The midichlorians, they were the ones who kind of founded the midichlorians. And
yeah, it's like their people
is
is very strong with that concept, and so like they have access to the force powers a lot better than other creatures or other aliens, other species, and so it's interesting to see that. I believe they said that the little character is like 50 years old or something.
Yeah,
and
they did say
it's
that.
still a baby, you know?
Yeah.
And that's so interesting because I know Yoda lived like 900 years or something of that nature.
Mm-hmm.
And so it makes sense that even a little baby is still like 50 years old and they just age really slowly.
But if you think about it, if he's 50 and he's a baby still, does that make Yoda around like what, like 10 maybe? Or like 20? Because I guess they're saying that like one day for us is like 50 years for them. So
kind of like dog years or something, but with that species of alien. I guess, yeah, it probably makes Yoda... The thing is that idea is based around the lifespan of one specific species. In us, we resonate with human species. And so we say, okay, based on what humans' lifespan is, this individual or this creature is around this many years old. And then you also have to take into the fact that the Star Wars universe year is probably different from what ours is, even though they use the same terminology. I'm sure there's people that
so?
probably... Yeah. I think there's probably a little bit different in the calendar with the Star Wars universe than just our calendar. And so, I mean, there has to be almost. If it's not very creative if they just keep the same kind of calendar we do, you know?
Well, they want to throw some things that we know in there so that we can kind of resonate and be like, okay, this is a year. We get that.
Yeah,
he's
that's
50
true.
years old. So you have to, yes, I see what you're saying. There's things that could happen, but it's also humans creating this story. I mean, it's a story essentially. So
yeah,
they're still thinking from a human's perspective, just creating these ideas and everything. So creating it, they want to throw things in there we can resonate with, be like, oh, okay, that's a year. He's 50 years old.
But anyway, back to the idea of this character. I'm really excited to see what is becoming of this character, and also what do these survivors from the Empire's fall, what do they want with this little baby? Obviously, it has something to do with the fact that they have the potential to become a Jedi because they're very strong with the Force. But what is it exactly that they want to do? Are they just wanting to kill it? Because why were they emphasizing it's that you can bring it back dead, but it's more important that you bring it back alive, you know? And so it's interesting to see what's going to come of that.
Yeah, I think it might have something to do with, the Force and knowing the Force and everything, and they want to study it probably and figure out how the Jedis were, because at this point there's only Luke, who's a Jedi, and everybody else is dead at this point. So
yeah, because even the only individuals that had access to the Force at that time was Luke, as far as we know.
And I guess this does put a good perspective on why Yoda literally went into hiding for all these years, even though it was because they were killing Jedis, but he went there. He went to where even nobody knew where he was, because people were looking for that species. People were wanting to find,
that's
basically
true.
Yoda. So
that's true. I mean, you can't look at a species and say, okay, this person has the Force, or this person has potential to become Jedi, or they have specific powers. But with his species, it seems like you do. Like, you can just look and know that species is unique, And so even just his physical form gives him away, It's not something he can hide. And so that would make sense why he goes into hiding like that. But yeah, what were your thoughts on the process leading up? Did you have any idea that it would be a baby?
No, I mean, I didn't know I didn't know how the show was going to go. I didn't know if I was going to like it. I don't know if, I went into it with an open mind because I didn't want my bias with Star Wars to
me too.
Get anything, but I was really pleasantly surprised. I mean, I think this is going to be great. I don't know who's the one who directed or produced it.
I found the list of...
Okay.
I'm not going to read the names off, but I think let me look real quick. I think there's like 6 different directors of this show.
Yeah.
There's 5 different people that directed this show. And there was 4 different writers. So it was probably different episodes were directed by different individuals, or they just tried to do it as a group effort, But yeah, it was a team of people. And I think that helps when you're making a story like this that's so personal to a lot of people. I think the issues we see with other Star Wars is when you don't have a director who wants to make a movie based on their opinion or their vision of it. But when you bring in more people, you get more consistency. You get more you get more of a look in a story and a feel for how the overwhelming majority of people want to see the story portrayed,
Well, and they're also they're writing a lot on the show. I mean, this is, to my knowledge, this is the only Disney original that that I've really heard about. I know there's one other one that I heard about that was like for kids. But
they haven't got a whole lot of originals out yet.
Yeah, so like, why do people want to get this streaming service besides just all for the Disney movies that we've already seen growing up? So they're writing a lot. Why they're writing a lot on this one show, basically. I mean, people are going to get interested, and rightly so. I mean, they're basically putting all their eggs in one basket right now. I mean, they can salvage it and put more stuff out, and they probably will, but I'm not saying they're salvaging it, but
well, let's take a quick break and let's talk again about the relationship between Disney Plus and the other streaming services, what we think Disney might be doing utilizing this specific show. All right?
Okay, this week we're going to take a few just moments to, we want to hear back from our audience more. Every week we kind of take this time to kind of promote Wise Works, say subscribe to this channel, but what do you like seeing from us? We want to get a little bit more feedback. You can comment on this video, you can go to our Facebook page, tag us, you can go to our Instagram and tag us. We want to hear more feedback from you. What do you like with the stuff that we've done? I know we can't always make films, and that's our most popular thing, but do you like these shows? And if so, what should we talk about? give us some ideas so that we hear more feedback from you guys. We want to say subscribe every week, but yes, we need subscribers, but we also want to interact with the people who are already subscribed. So let us know what we should talk about in the future, or if you like it, if you don't like it. I mean, if you don't like it, that's an opinion too. So give us your opinion, and we'll try to get back from it. Yeah, and we'll try to change up some things if you guys think we should change some things or do something a little different. So, do you have any things to add on that, Joseph?
No, I just think it's real important that we connect with you guys. Really, obviously, social media, this platform, YouTube, it allows us to just get so much feedback, and we're not seeing that a whole lot right now at this point of growth. And so we want to connect with you guys. We're creating an entertainment channel for you. We're creating an entertainment company for the audience, and that's something that we want to hold in very high regard. And so the more feedback you give us, the more we can cultivate and create in accordance to stuff that will be entertaining for you. I know podcasts are hot right now. Everyone likes podcasts for the most part, but really we just want to hear from you, and we really value and respect you guys as the audience that are already here and watching our content. And so reach out, just leave a comment or something so we can read it and get to know you a little bit.
That is true. Okay, back to the show. Okay, right. So you wanted to talk about the relationship between Disney Plus and other streaming services.
Yeah.
First, where were you going with that? I mean, I understand what you're saying, but what?
Well, I think we should touch a little bit on, because Disney Plus has just come out, and we've talked about Disney as a company. We've talked about, we've made predictions before they came out with Disney Plus about them starting a streaming service soon. And they've started it. There's been things that we've been wrong about, but also, no, I don't think completely off base. So what I said back when, I can't remember if we said this in the first season or something, but I said I think that they're probably going to come out with a streaming service. It's going to be a lot more expensive because they own a bunch of stuff, and then they're going to take everything that's in everyone else's pile that they own and put it back in theirs, and they're going to charge a lot more, and so it's going to put a big damper on the other companies. We don't see that happening right now because, honestly, Disney Plus is pretty cheap. It's one of the cheaper ones out there right now. It's like the cost of Hulu, but without any of the attachments to it. I think Hulu's like $6 or $7 a month.
Yeah, I have seen some packages where like you can bundle Disney Plus with other streaming services for like a good deal, like probably $20, $30 probably.
Yeah. But yeah, Disney Plus is relatively cheap on its own right now. Maybe they're trying to play nice and say, yeah, we should just do the bundling thing. But also, I think a part of the reason why it is cheap is because they still are a business and they still know the value of having content for people to pay for. And so, although they are one of the top creators in the industry, they, as you said, don't have a whole lot of originals that people don't already have access to on Disney Plus. And I think that's probably because right now they're basing it all around convenience with a few additions. So you might have DVDs that are the old Disney movies, or you've been able to watch them on Netflix or somewhere else for a while, and now they're saying, okay, it's here, not entirely here, but it's a lot of it is here, and so you're wanting to go watch that for convenience to be able to watch it at your own leisure. But then also they don't have a whole lot of content that's original that is unique to the streaming service, except for like The Mandalorian right now.
Yeah. I did hear about another show that's going to be coming out really soon, if it's not out yet, is High School Musical. I don't know if you've heard this, but
I heard
it's a show essentially the same. I think it's the same high school as High School Musical. And just like, I think it's like a couple years later or something. I don't know exactly what it is, but they're trying to capitalize on that. And
because apparently that was a big hit for its time. But yeah, I think
it was definitely big for its time, and just maybe not in our realms because we aren't really into that. But like, I know I talked to we have some cousins that are younger, but also female, cousins that are probably in the young teens, 10 years old range, and they're the ones who mentioned it to me. I didn't hear about it until they said something about it, and
they're really looking forward to it.
Yeah, they are actually. So
Yeah.
I guess it's. I mean, they have one group of people, The Mandalorian, that like wouldn't be a younger audience, but then a younger audience too. They're coming out with this show, so they're capitalizing on all age ranges.
Yeah, I would say I wouldn't say that Disney is necessarily above. The more they come out with, if they get to the size where Netflix is right now, I still stand by saying that when they get that big, they're probably going to be charging. I don't think they're going to keep their rate at the rate it is currently. I think it's definitely going to go up as time goes on, and people are probably still going to pay for it because they've grown and they got a lot of content that's unique to them. And it will at the same time lose some business for Netflix and others like that. But I saw this one. The thing that I think is the biggest danger right now with streaming services is that to be able to afford all of the streaming services, if someone wants to have access to all of it, they're still paying the same amount as they would cable, Yeah. And it's a pretty big bill to have access to all of it. And so they're really making people choose which one or which few that they want because they're coming out with so many. You have them in sports, you have them in entertainment, you have them in, so many different varieties of showing, and it's just a lot. It obviously I only have two personally. So yeah, the stream services I have are Netflix and Hulu, and honestly, those two is kind of, I'm already at the peaking point of what I want to pay for these streaming services each month, and so that it's difficult for me to justify unless I become like really wealthy to just pay for all these, and so I really think that they should be working together a bit to help combine it. Maybe they are, maybe I'm not seeing something, but honestly it's becoming a bit of a headache already to have to deal with more and more streaming services coming out that you have to pay for if you want access to certain kinds of entertainment on demand,
Well, I mean, I think it's just a new market, like, because if you think of, we're kind of getting into a whole nother topic here, and I don't want to get too deep into it, but
we'll just touch on it and then bounce out.
If you think about it, what was the content we watched 20 years ago? VHS tapes. Then it went to DVDs. Then it went to Blu-rays. Blu-rays didn't stick around very long. But then we got streaming. Then we got streaming services. People are almost saying that cable and TV is almost a dead art now. It's not. Certain people still watch it, but
I will say their numbers are really bad.
I mean, I know, and this is kind of funny to think of, our parents, they watch just because they have an antenna to pick up just basic cable, and they watch, what they like to watch is NCIS and Wheel of Fortune and Jeopardy. That's old people stuff. That's catered for the old people. So is TV catering to old people now? Maybe not. I can't say that for sure. We do have news stations still that's on TV. That's what old people watch.
There are some TV stations that I do respect a lot. that are doing really well, but I still think that there are some that still need to try to grapple with how are they getting their information out there. And how are they making it more available for the next generation? Because a lot of people aren't looking at having cable or having that the traditional form of consuming media as a future thing. Like people just aren't going to consider it, and so
they're going to streaming services. Yeah.
So there are people and companies I don't want to see go down, but they need to think about what are they doing for the future if they're not already. I'm sure most of them are, but Yeah,
Well,
just the numbers aren't consistent.
well, they are. They're trying to go into streaming services, but s- everybody going into streaming services, we can't pay for all the streaming.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to choose the ones we like and who's more popular. Unless
Yeah.
they combine and go together. I mean, I think that should be what they do. I think we should maybe have 1, 2 streaming services. And will that happen? I can't say yes or no, but that would be what I like to see.
Yeah.
So
We've gone pretty long today, so we
yeah.
probably should wrap it
so
up.
give us your opinion.
Yeah.
What would you like to see if streaming services combined?
Yeah.
Who would you like to see together? I know Disney just pulled off from Netflix. They were on Netflix, but and what is your thought on having to pay for all these streaming services? So
Yeah. Also, just let us know what you think about the Mandalorian specifically if you've seen it.
Yeah.
We do recommend watching it. I would
Yes.
say. If you don't have Disney Plus, you can buy it probably on its own or something.
Yeah, they'll probably
Maybe,
have stream just
But
like digital. Yeah.
yeah, so we do recommend it. I think you'll be happy if you like the traditional forms of Star Wars. It holds very close to those, and
It
it's
does.
very, very satisfying to watch in the Star Wars universe.
Yep.
So yeah, leave a comment. Let us know what you think about that, and just don't forget, reach out to us and just communicate it with us as an audience, and we'll have a conversation and have a good time.
Yep.
All right, thanks for watching.
Okay.